Hi Louise, Jordan Hale here, reading to you Stanley to the Rescue, written and illustrated by Dave Gunson. It was a lovely morning and Stanley and Spot were having breakfast in the garden. Stanley had found a delicious biscuit and Spot was munching on a fresh leaf. Suddenly a voice said, "Oh good, I found another one," and a giant foot crushed down to the ground, nearly flattening poor Stanley. After a moment, Stanley peeked out under the mushroom to make sure it was safe. "Spot," he whispered, "are you all right?" But there was no answer. Spot was gone. Just then Stanley caught sight of a young girl carrying off his pet ladybird in a glass jar. He rushed after the girl as fast as he could. He followed her down the path and around the block onto the busy main street. The girl ran across the road to the school on the other side. Stanley rushed after her, hardly noticing the traffic that zoomed past him left and right. He watched to see which classroom the girl went into, then clambered up the drain pipe to open the window. He crept inside and looked about. There was Spot, still trapped in the jar. There were lots more jars on the shelf, and they all had ladybirds inside. "Goodness me," said Stanley. "Spot's whole family has been captured." He crept up to Spot's jar, wondering how to get his little friend out. But the glass jar was much too heavy for a little mouse to push over all by himself. Then Stanley saw a long wooden ruler. He had an idea. Pushing hard, he managed to get one end under the jar. And then he jumped as hard as he could on the other end. The jar toppled over and knocked over the next jar, which knocked over the next jar, until they all fallen over with a great crash. Everyone in the classroom jumped at the noise. "Eek!" shouted the teacher as she caught sight of Stanley. "A mouse! Catch it, children!" "Quick!" said Stanley to Spot and the other ladybirds. "Get out as fast as you can!" Stanley and the ladybirds ran to the edge of the road. "Oh dear! Oh dear!" said Stanley. "How are we going to get across?" Spot thought of something and whispered to her relatives. Quick as a flash they all flew over Stanley and gripped his legs and paws and fur. Then they lifted him into the air. "Goodness me!" laughed Stanley. They were all back home in just a few minutes, and all the ladybirds gave Stanley a big hug for saving them. "Oh, well done, Stanley." Thank you very much.